In this video, we're going to cover how to shoot a 3-person interview. Now, that 3 people would be 2 guests and a host. So I'm just going to start the interview here a little bit, and then we'll break it all down. So today I have with me Fiona. Fiona, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Fiona Peters. I'm married to Matthew Peters. Been married for almost 14 years, have 2 kids.
Great. And what do you do for a living?
I manage apartment complexes.
Very good. And how about you, Keith?
Keith Gilmore, and I'm a copywriter. Been doing that for about 7 years. It's my dream job. I'm married for the last 12 years and have 2 kids.
Great, great. So this is just a basic, just an introduction. This isn't really how you'd run an interview, but I just wanted to get some volume from themselves for our microphones. So one of the things we're doing first of all is we're rolling tape and we're just hitting record on it, and we're just getting to know each other a little bit. What we're going to be able to do with that is just, first of all, they're going to feel a little bit more at ease because we're not going to just have that red light issue. The red light goes on the camera and they kind of freeze up and they're a little confused. This is a very unnatural setting. So first of all, I've asked them to speak up louder than they normally would if we were just chatting. The other thing is we're sitting really close. It's like 3 people on a city bus. My legs are in front of Keith's legs, and Keith and Fiona are really close together. It's a very unnatural feeling. So when you're on camera, it's just compounds the issue of having to speak in front of people. So one of the things I've also asked them to do is just think about speaking as if they were in front of an audience of 100 people. So if you're on stage, you're going to project even though you may be mic'd. Let's talk a little bit about the microphones that we're using here. Now, we've decided to go with 2 lavalier style microphones, and we just plug them into a Y connector and then plug that into that KV connection that goes into the iPad or your iPhone or whatever device you're using. We have also tried using a shotgun mic. So I was mic'd up this way, and then a shotgun mic was just off the camera pointing at Fiona and Keith, and that didn't work out as well. So you need to experiment a little bit. So you record about 1 minute of conversation, go and take a look at it, make sure everything's framed right, the lighting's right, the volumes of everybody are pretty equal. You don't want one person blowing out everything else because they're peaking or going into the red. If you have an app like Filmic Pro where it shows you your VU meter, or someone, say Fiona is talking really quietly and there's this big disparity between the 2 of us, we want to make sure that it's really close. Now, Keith is not mic'd, but you'll notice I have tipped my mic towards him a little bit, and Fiona has hers tipped towards Keith a little bit as well. We don't want to put so many splitters onto into the audio input that we're just starting to degrade the signal. So with that being said, let's also talk about how we positioned ourselves. If I am the host, I would not want to be sitting in the middle, asking one question here, asking another question over there. It's just it's a little more awkward. And when I'm asking them questions, I just let them complete what they're saying and just give a little, what some people call is a beat, just in between what they're talking about and what I'm talking about. So I don't interrupt them. I don't go, because when you do that, playing it back is going to be really annoying. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Let's also talk about the lighting here. This is kind of a complex situation to light because you don't have just one person or 2 people. Now you have 3 people you have to think about, and one person is always going to be closer to a light source than another. So we have the fill light, which is way over here. It's probably about 6 feet away from Fiona. So we had to make sure that it wasn't too bright on her face. She didn't have any shiny parts of her face that would turn out just white. And then it had to be bright enough also to light me up. Over here we have the key light, which is closest to me, and I had to watch out for over here being lit too much, and then as Fiona's the furthest from it, we just need to make sure everything was evenly lit. And then for Keith, he's in the middle here. He's wearing a dark shirt, and we have a dark background. So one of the things we had to make sure is we had that backlight. So we're getting the tops of all of our heads and then our shoulders to separate us from that dark background. If we didn't, Keith would kind of blend in with the background because there's very low contrast. We all have darker hair, so that's something, it would just be kind of odd to have our faces with dark hair and a dark backdrop. That's why we have that backlight. Is there anything that you guys think I'm forgetting here?
No, I think you've touched on everything.
I guess the other thing is just, people making sure that you as the host know what you're going to ask as far as questions, and that you kind of run through some things with your talent or your guest so they aren't surprised, they aren't having to, let me think about that for a while. And that really, that running through and having some banter as the camera was rolling and they didn't even know the camera was rolling, you say, let's go take a look at it. And then people can say, oh, I have this mannerism, that I didn't like. It's better to get that out before you actually shoot video that you're going to use. So just having a little bit of practice for everyone, they get to take a look at how they look. The other thing is, Fiona is the shortest of the three of us. To have her right next to me would make her look smaller. So we kind of start and then we go down towards Fiona over there. If someone is closer, so if I were to sit like this, now I'm a lot bigger than even Keith. So that's why you want to make sure if you have 3 people or 4 people, whatever it ends up being, that you take with the distance from the lens and kind of have an arc from that same distance. So everybody, if we're in a line, the person that's closest to the camera is going to seem the largest. That's just how the optics work. So that's really everything we can think of for doing a 3-person interview. You've got your lighting, you've got your audio, and just how people are positioned. Just note that even though we're sitting really close, and this is really uncomfortable, just being in other people's space, on camera it looks just fine. So just remember that you want to be closer together than you would normally be in reality. So that's it. So thank you very much.